Hey guys, how's it going out there? So welcome to our little live event. I'm going to make a start. We're still waiting for a few people, but I think let's get going anyway. So we've got a bit of a event for you here today. I'm just going to ask that Trevor, please click me through to the next slide so I can do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'll hand you over to the experts in this. So, nope, you went too far, Dad. Right, thank you. So I just wanted to let you know that you can engage in a Q&A. There is an icon across the top of your page that looks like the one in the screen. It's got the little talk bubble and a question in there. So feel free to click on that and ask any questions you like. The live event is going to you guys with a 30-second delay, so I won't answer straight away, but we will answer all of your questions. We have a Q&A section at the end of our presentation, so if we don't get to you in the moment that you ask, we are going to come back to you and make sure that all questions get managed. If you need to leave during the presentation, we are recording it, so you can always get in touch and I will send you out a recording of it. Similarly, if you would like to receive further information, the syndicate brief, you could also leave your email in the Q&A and I'll make sure that that gets sent out to you. So without any further ado, I'm going to put Trevor on board with you guys and enjoy the presentation and speak to you soon.
Sorry, folks, my tab doesn't take me to my first screen for some reason, so I'll just talk to you anyway. Sorry about that. Here it's decided to come. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining our webinar at which we are going to make a presentation about the syndicated ownership and management of private yachts for recreation, with the emphasis on recreation and, of course, pleasure. My name is Trevor Joyce. Some of you may know me, but I'm from Marina Boating Holidays and Yacht Share Mariner, and I will be co-presenting this afternoon with Christoph Vanek, who is the Managing Director of Dream Yacht Charter and the Whitsundays. Our program today is going to be about who we are. It's going to talk about how syndication works. It's going to talk about YSM in the Med. It's going to talk about with DYC in the Whitsundays, Dream Yacht Charter in the Whitsundays, and then the new Bali 4.4 that Christoph is going to present to you, fabulous boat, Dream Yacht Technical Services in Airlie Beach, and then the Q&A session at the end. So who are we? YSM Yacht Share Mariner is a wholly owned subsidiary of Marina Boating Holidays, which was founded in 1985 and has been in the sailing holiday space in Australia ever since. In 2015, we formed a business called Yacht Share YSM, and it was set up in Marmaris in Turkey, and we operated those 5 years in the Med. And then our team in Australia is quite small. You can imagine with the COVID situation and not much to do internationally, which is our main theatre over the last couple of years, we have less than what we've sometimes had in the past, but there's myself, Maggie, my wife, Sarah, who was talking to you at the beginning, our daughter. We have Kathy Shear, who's our financial controller. She's been with us longer than she's been with her husband. and Emma Richardson, who oils the cogs to make sure everything works. Outside of our shop, we have Heather Johnston, who is our creative director, graphic designer, if you like, and she was the designer of this presentation. Johnston Graphic Design. So how does this syndication story work? A group of owners, potential owners, get themselves together, they buy a boat, and the objective is to share in the capital and operating costs of the boat. Then they need a manager generally, and the manager supervises or coordinates the operational and management issues and the finances, of course, but most importantly, runs the use of the boat so that two owners don't turn up to use it at the same time. Service and maintenance, in our case, will be handled exclusively by Dream Yacht up in the Whitsundays. We think it's in very good hands because they already have 37 boats to run, and that means they should know what they're doing. Well, we know they do. And then, of course, you have the owners who, in this scenario, have a seamless walk-on, walk-off service with no hassles. The assistance is only a phone call away, a briefing if necessary beforehand, but no preparation before the cruise, none at the end of it. So all of the time you have available for recreation on a boat, you spend on the boat. So we have two scenarios, one in the Whitsundays, one in the Mediterranean. In the Whitsundays, we're talking 8 shares. Our home port is the Coral Sea Marina, Airlie Beach, and each share gets 42 days with no restriction on the duration of each usage. The yacht may be moved from Sydney or Pittwater to Sydney Pittwater into high summer. The coastal voyage north and south can be used as owner entitlement. Maintenance and management fee is all inclusive at $1,350. Then in the Med, where the season is shorter, we have 30 days in the high season for 6 owners between April and September, 30 days outside of the main season, but of course the low season there is not as attractive as here. A yacht can operate between Turkey, Greece, Croatia, Italy, France, and in the Med, all of the maintenance costs are billed at net and estimated at $5,000 per share per year, and the management fee is billed separately. It's also $5,000 per share per year, but of course it is set. Obviously, the numbers matter, and we have used here a Bali 4.4 as an example, because that's the boat we'll be talking about as our first boat in the Whitsundays. The Bali 4.4 has a total cost, capital cost of $1.5 million if you buy the boat outright. Obviously, the usage is unlimited. The depreciation, however, at 10% is still $150,000. The service is about $30,000. There's no management fee, of course. If you take a 1/8 shared ownership, you're talking about a capital outlay of $205,000. The entitlement is 42 days. The depreciation is $20,500. The service fee, $16,200. So you're talking about a total cost per year for 42 days of $36,700. If you charter a similar yacht, a Bali 4.3 at about $15,000 a week, if you went the same 42 days, you'd be talking roughly $90,000 per year, depending on how much you could negotiate out of my good friend Christoph, who you'll be talking with, who will be talking to you later on. The interesting thing about this figure here is that by the time you go the same 3-year period that we're talking about here as the standard contract, you've spent the same money that it will cost you to buy into the boat and have your own boat with all the advantages, of course, of owner configuration, higher specification, etc. So obviously, from a pure numbers point of view, the shared ownership concept is very viable. So what are the key components in a successful syndicate? Well, first of all, you've got to have the destination. And in our case, we're offering Whitsundays and the Mediterranean. I think we're the only company that does. We are thinking, by the way, that we might do a season in New Caledonia with the same operator, that is Dream Yacht Charters, but that's subject to owner endorsement, of course. In the Med, the yacht situation might lead you to a monohull because the ports are very small, space is very restricted. The bun fight in the afternoon when people anchor and cross other people's anchors, and I'm sure there are folks amongst you who've witnessed this. It's fantastic to see. Not much fun if you get involved, but I prefer personally to be tied up to cement at night. But lots of people, and particularly the catamaran owners, seem to prefer to be at anchor with a line ashore, solitude, peace and quiet, and no competing light when it comes to the stars. So it's a question of personal preference. Then you've got to have an operator. Well, some people do it themselves, but of course we've selected the two best operators in the world, I believe. That is SK Yachting in Turkey, in Marmaris, and Dream Yacht Charter in the Whitsundays. And we hope that combination plus our destinations might give you the confidence you need to come to us to talk about shared ownership in Australia. That's not a doctored photograph, by the way, but just a quick talk about sailing in the Med. In the summer, which is our winter, of course, this is the team from SK Yachting. Christoph reckons they all need to go to the gym. That's probably indicative of the fact that they eat Turkish food, which if you've been there, you'll know is pretty fantastic. This is our base in Turkey in Marmaris, the Yacht Marin, and it's about 5 clicks out of town, but there's a bus, so it's very accessible. It has a wonderful restaurant, swimming pool, and it's got a very big hard stand area, so it's great for winter storage. And then talking for a moment about sailing in Turkey, well, in the Med in general, of course there is the Schengen Treaty. You may not have heard of it. It provides for passport-free travel within the EU, but it also defines how long a non-EU passport holder can stay in the Schengen area. And it's 90 days in any 180-day period. The boat has to leave, of course, otherwise it's subject to GST, but luckily there is no GST on boats in Turkey, so we take our boats ex-factory in France and sail them to Turkey, go into the EU period, into the EU for the summer. We might go to Croatia for 1 year, we might go to Italy or France the next, but the boat comes back to Marmaris at the end of each season. And that is an expense, but I can assure you it's a much smaller expense than 25% GST on the boat, which is what is applicable in Europe. We have 2 boats available in the Med at the moment. Well, they're not there yet, they haven't been built yet. This is the new Dufour 530 slippery boat. This is a 3-cabin configuration, high-level spec, and very innovative design, which is demonstrated here with the second galley you can see here in the transom next to the girls sitting there. It's got a barbecue, it's got a sink, it's got a fridge, so that the person doing the prep is not excluded from the social dimension. Then we have the well-known Astrea 42, but this boat won't be arriving in Turkey until the middle of 2023, reflecting the situation in most of the boatyards in Europe at the moment. If you wanted to order an Astrea 42 today, you would not get delivery before the end of 24 or even the beginning of 25. Then, of course, the Whitsundays, home. You don't have to fly anywhere. Well, you've got to fly to Proserpine or to Hamilton Island. And I should mention that Dream Yacht Charter, from their base in Airlie Beach, can deliver one of our boats to Hamilton Island. So all you've got to do is carry your bags down the dock and get on the boat, and you're gone. The coast, the whole of the Australian coastline becomes available to you when you're on a private boat. You can go up to the islands north of Hamilton. You can go south. We will have the boat in Sydney during the summer, the high summer. It will operate from Lavender Bay. So there's lots of flexibility. We're even talking, as I said earlier, about taking the boat to New Caledonia to operate from Noumea. I said earlier, we're talking 8 shares in Australia. Each shareholder gets 6 weeks with a maximum 8 shares in the yacht. There's no restriction on duration, unlimited standby days. It's an online booking system. 4 weeks are kept free between the seasons for things like deliveries and annual maintenance. It's a 3-year ownership term. The title to the share is legal under the law governing tenants in common. Capital return is shared equally at the end of the 3-year contract if the yacht is sold. The fees for technical service and management are all inclusive and payable monthly, and shares can be sold at any time with no exit fee. So now we get to the Bali 4.4, and in a minute I'll flick you to Christoph, but I just want to say that we have on offer the 1/8 share in a Bali 4.4 that we have ordered and will bring to Australia in time for the Sydney Boat Show in July 2022. The boat will then be delivered up to Airlie Beach for continued use by owners then. The Bali 4.4 we have on order is the 3-cabin version. It has a luxury range of options that Christoph will tell you more about as well. And of course, Dream Yacht will provide all the tech services. I have to add, however, that due to a factory price increase that we have with this price absorbed, that on December 1, we have to increase the price to 212,000. There was some mention as a result of the factory increase in France, something to do with submarines. I'm not quite sure what that was about. So now over to Christoph, who's going to talk to you about Bali and the 4.4. Hi, Christoph.
Sound. Oui, technology. I'm a bit slow with technology. So I'm not going to sell you a Bali submarine, but it's going to be a very nice 40-foot Bali catamaran. I'm Christoph Van Eck. I'm the managing director of Dream Yacht Charter and Bali catamaran for Australia and New Zealand. We are based in the Whitsundays, as Trevor explained. We run a yacht charter company, one of the 50 bases that Dream Yacht Charter owns around the world. And we have 37 boats. We have a team of about 25 people. So we start to understand how it all works in terms of boat maintenance and so on. So you'll be in good hands at that level. But let me introduce you to the Bali 4.4. I mean, the Bali 4.4 is a brand new model, and it's part of the new line of catamaran from Bali. As you know, Bali was launched in 2015. And in the past 6 years, it has gone so well. And the first line of models we had was the 4.0, 4.1, 4.3, 4.5, and the 5.4. Now we have renewed the complete range, and we have the Cat Space, which is a 40-footer. The Bali 4.2, actually we'll have a Bali 4.2 arriving in Australia in January, and it would be presented with Yacht Share Mariner at the Sanctuary Cove Boat Show in the Gold Coast next May. So we have the 4.2, the new 4.4 that will arrive in June 2022, and the 4.6, the 4.8, and the 5.4. Bali was in 2019 producing 120 boats approximately. We are producing now about 226 a year. So that product, the Bali catamaran range, which was launched by Katana Shipyard, because that's where it comes from. It's got the old technology from Katana Shipyard. I mean, Katana, as you probably know, is a performance-built catamaran with dagger boards, fine entry hulls, carbon fiber, and so on. It's done very, very well. And Olivier Ponsin, the president of Katana Group, decided in 2015 to launch the Bali range to compete with Lagoon catamarans, Fontaine Pajot catamaran, and Nautitech. So to come into the market with a cruising catamaran, it is easy. But to come to the market with a brand new concept, it's easy in terms of design, but it's not that easy to be accepted straight away because the Bali concept was so radical. The main point about the Bali is the fact that it's a completely open space if you want to. It's got that big back door in coma garage door that can open up completely and have a really open floor plan. On the 4.4, we have now a forward opening door that takes you into the forward cockpit. The forward cockpit, and this is in all the Balis, has no trampoline. So we went for a filled-in forward bow of the boat where people can stand and lay down on cushions and enjoy the forward section of the boat. I'm probably going to say why have the forward part of the boat completely filled in and have no trampoline, is that dangerous and so on. We're not going to get there because now after 6 years, it's proven that it's very safe at all levels. But the fact is that it makes the boat a lot more rigid because all that boat is completely filled in. There is no trampoline and then aluminum crossbeam at the front, where in heavy seas, most of the cats have a bit of twist. Those boats are extremely stiff and they can power through choppy seas very well at a very good speed. So that's the main feature, that forward cockpit, that opening, that door that opens up to that forward cockpit into the saloon. We've got as well a great feature, which is the big double door fridge, American fridge we call it, with ice maker, with water coming, fresh water coming through, with a section for frozen goods, and the other side for as a fridge. But the design as well of the Bali has changed slightly. You know, there is more curve. It's not that straight anymore. I have to say that we had the Annapolis boat show last month in the USA, and we sold 8 Bali at the show in 5 days. You know, so it was never done in the American market, and it proves that the Bali catamaran range has really been accepted. You know, so we have at the moment 7 Bali in our fleet in the Whitsundays. We've got a 4.0, we got a 4.1, and we got 5 Bali 4.3. And the newer model in January. And after that, of course, and I hope, and it will go ahead for sure, the 4.4 will arrive probably August 2022 in Airlie Beach after the Sydney Boat Show. Now we can talk about the boat. Of course, I'll try to explain, and you can go on our website, balicatamaran.com, to get more details, or you can email us to get more information. But service is very important. Maintenance is very important. So in terms of service, as we are the Bali agent and the Bali importer in Australia and New Zealand, we will be directly looking after anything to do with warranty on the boats, service on the boat. We have direct contact with the Bali shipyards for spare parts or drawings, anything like this, to help us fix things. You know, I mean, on a new boat, there is always little things that we need to fine tune. After, of course, we have a very complete technical team operating 7 boats in the Whitsundays with us here at the Coral Sea Marina. So, you know, every day, the teams are working on boats, fixing boats. Today, all the boats are similarly appointed in terms of technical items. You know, I mean, if you think about the car industry, you've got BMW, you've got Audi, and you've got Mercedes. The car industry, of course, everybody has copied each other. The technology is the same. The body is different. The design is different. It's very similar with the cats today or any production boats, you know. I mean, everybody is copying each other each year at every boat show. People go, they spy, and they add things, they remove things, you know, they talk to their clientele. So today, you know, electronic system on boats, we're talking Brooks and Gailars, we're talking Marine, that goes on every boat in the world. Water pumps are the same. All that is very similar, so it's very easy for us to have those parts in stock, and if a boat has issues, we can fix or replace quickly and easily by a professional team. And this is what we have here in the Whitsundays with Yacht Charter. I would say that I'm pretty much done with my little presentation, and maybe Trevor, did I miss anything? Would you like me to talk a bit more about the boat or what we're doing?
No, Christoph, I think we should go to questions, and so Sarah, can you open up with the questions? Have you got access to them?
I do. So Trevor, one of
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Trevor?
Yep.
Okay. One of the questions is, from a walk-on, walk-off perspective, will sheets, towels, linen, etc. be provided?
Yes.
Perfect.
What colour do you want?
And the other question is, what is the additional cost for a transfer to Hamilton Island from Airlie Beach?
Christoph?
It's about $400 each way.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Sarah?
And Trevor, for the Whitsunday option, if the group wanted to keep the boat beyond the 3 years of the initial agreement, is it possible to extend?
Yes, we've just finished the drafting of the agreement, the syndicate agreement, and we've put a clause that provides for automatic renewal for 1 year at a time. So unless it's terminated at 3 years, unless it's terminated, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. Unless it's terminated at 3 years, it will automatically renew for a fourth and a fifth and a sixth and so on.
Okay, and so that is the last question that's come up to me.
Well, there was a question that I was anticipating from somebody who asked me, and I asked them to ask it at the webinar, so I would cover it. But an important issue to do with shared ownership of a boat is the experience of the owners who are the skipper. And of course, there are no regulations in the Whitsundays, but we require minimum ICC certificate, which is the International Certificate of Competence that comes from the RYA, and if possible, a resume. Now, so far as briefing, etc. is concerned, that's automatic. If an owner who doesn't have the experience but has that qualification wants to do the coastal trip, let's say between Sydney and the Whitsundays, we would probably say as manager that it would be smart to have a skipper on board. But the key to the answer to that question is ICC, the minimum requirement as skipper, and similarly with anybody who is not the owner, may be a partner, it may be a friend. If the skipper wants approval of that person, then he submits to us the detail and we take the information on board. I mentioned, maybe not actually, my apology, the yacht cannot be offered under any circumstances for charter. So if somebody else comes on board, it cannot be a commercial equation. It's almost certainly going to be a familial thing, but we require that approval, ICC minimum, and we can give you assistance as to where to go to get it. It's not difficult to do. It's about the equivalent of the RYA Day Skipper certificate.
Okay, beautiful. Trevor,
So
I have another question for you.
Yes.
Can you please walk through the ownership costs for the Whitsundays again? Okay.
The cost of the share, the 1/8 share in the boat is $205,000. That's for the boat, fully equipped, including the freight, including the GST, including the duty, and including the clearance. So it is delivered to the port in Australia. Then the monthly charge, which includes all of the routine maintenance, turnaround, cleaning, etc., and the management fee is $1,350. That can be paid on a bank-to-bank monthly thing without any actual transfer happening, but those are the charges. I have to say also, I think I said actually the price going up at the end of November. The process so far as joining the syndicate is concerned is that we need an application form which is attached to the syndicate brief. Anybody interested, simply request now or of me later a syndicate brief. It comes quickly, and once the application fee or form is filled, then we send out the syndicate agreement, which I have to say is a fairly extensive thing, 44 pages, but they say, and I agree, that the better the agreement, the less likely it is that you'll have to use it. So it has taken a lot of time to evolve, both for the Mediterranean and now for Australia, but it is ready to go for anybody who wants to join the syndicate. We have 3 people already with their hands up, so there are really only 5 shares now available, 8 all together. Settlement date is immediately. If you want to purchase a share, we have to pay the builder in the middle of March, and the boat will be here in mid-June, boat show, and then up in the Whitsundays after the boat show in July.
Okay, so Trevor, if one share terminates after the 3 years, does it terminate for all 8 shares, or can the syndicate separate?
No. What can happen at the end of the 3 years, there's a few possibilities. One is that the ownership of the shares can change within the syndicate. For example, one that just finished in the Med went from 6 down to 2. So the 2 shareholders that remain bought the other guys out, and they have now the boat between them. If one single shareholder wants out, then we sell his share, and he gets paid for his share when we renew his shareholding in the syndicate. If the syndicate wants to continue with the boat as it is, that's fine. It just rolls over automatically, as I said, 1 year at a time.
Okay, lovely. And going to the Mediterranean, can you hire a skipper for a day or a week in Turkey? And if so, how much is that?
A skipper for a day in Turkey? Well, actually, you should know the answer to that, Sarah. You probably know more of them than I do, but I think they're about 150 euros a day. Is that right?
Correct, euros. So about 220 Aussie dollars.
Yep.
I have a few more questions here for you, Mr. Joyce.
Yes, continue. That's great.
Just let me scroll down, make sure I'm not missing any. What is the likely sale revenue after 3 years?
Well, that's a very interesting situation, because with the market as it is at the moment, even second-hand boats are more expensive than they otherwise would be, because there's a desperate shortage worldwide of both new boats and second-hand boats. We have estimated that the boat would lose 30% of its value when sold at the end of the 3-year period. Hence, we've allowed for 10% per annum in the cost-benefit analysis. I think in the current circumstances that 30% after 3 years is probably over the top, but better to be conservative and get a present surprise, and one assumes that this situation is not going to go on forever. But whilst the new boat builders can't keep up, the second-hand market is going to stay strong. Do you agree with that, Christoph? Can't hear me. Okay.
Sorry, yes, I can hear you. My mic was muted. Yes, definitely. You look, the market, the second-hand market is very, very strong worldwide. Worldwide, not just here. I was talking to a Dream Yacht sales representative in Miami, and it's crazy what's going on in the US at the moment in terms of boat sales, and it's the same at a different level in Australia. So yes, definitely, after 3 years we could resell the boat at 70% of its original value.
Yeah, I think maybe even better than that, but we budgeted on 70 and I think that's what we stay with. And if it's better than that, that's
let's
great.
be conservative.
Yes. Okay. Sarah, back to you, love.
Can the owners just stay in the marina and not go sailing for the whole holiday? And is that the same for Turkey and Oz bases?
Yes, that's. I think I even know who that question has come from. Is it come from New Zealand?
No, it hasn't, unless.
Oh, okay. Because we have a new syndicate in Turkey with a guy from New Zealand as a member, and he's already been there on his own. And he said, we never used to go anywhere. It was too hard. So, so they just stayed in the marina. You can stay in the marina as long as you like. The only downside in the Med with marinas, in fact, with berthing in general for cats, is in some marinas, it's extremely expensive. You could be talking 200 euros, even more per day. Now, you know, for me, ports are better than marinas, but marinas have the services. And when we're there sailing on our charter business, we go into a marina if we can for a night and then disappear. But the answer to that question is you can stay in the marina as long as you like and not go anywhere.
And
make a beach house out of it.
And that would mean that in Marmaris, for example, I could use the pool and the restaurant and the showers.
Well, I'll tell you a great little story here, Sarah. During the COVID, the charter company, SK, rented their boats to the government and they were using them for quarantine for arriving passengers, and the restaurant was actually delivering the meals to the boats in the marina because the people in quarantine weren't allowed to get off the boat.
Brilliant. My kind of and so obviously if you wanted to buy more than your single share and up your access to the boat, that's okay too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yep. We have, for example, a syndicate that's just completed in the Astria, and there are 2 shareholders with 2 shares each and 2 single shareholders, and the amount of time is a direct reflection of the number of shares.
Okay. And just for that person who has come in late and wants the Whitsunday monthly cost, I think we've addressed it a couple of times now, but this can be sent out to you via email. So what I might do is ask you to put your email into the Q&A and I will get a response out to you with the cost for the Whitsunday monthly cost.
1350.
Okay, or Trevor can just repeat it.
And that it covers everything so far as management and maintenance is concerned. The only exclusion would be if there was negligent or damage caused by negligence or carelessness, a navigation fault, for example. But so far as what is written, it is all included, payable monthly.
Okay, and can you please explain the reservation process? How much time in advance can I book? How is it allocated? High and low season, etc.
Well, what we are examining, and I have to say we haven't got it on board yet because in the Med it's not necessary because there is lesser usage, longer period, longer duration. But in Australia, we are looking at a system which has, in fact, a point system that weights the calendar according to whether it's holiday, weekday, weekend, and that will be online according to availability. There will be unlimited availability on a standby basis. We have to define standby in terms of how far in advance and how far after the start. But we will be releasing space online no longer than one season at a time, and it will probably be more like 6 months. I have to say that this is still formative, and in fact one of the purposes behind this webinar and in my questioning of prospective clients thus far is what are the preferences, because what we appreciate is that the usage pattern is completely separate. I have an example of one of the guys who is coming on board. He says, I want 3 weeks in the Whitsundays in the winter, and I want maybe 5 days in Sydney or Pittwater in the summer, and the rest of the time we'll figure it out. But that's the sort of pattern I see emerging. I don't see too much day use happening in the Whitsundays because I imagine most of our owners are going to come from places other than Airlie Beach, and you wouldn't get on a plane and fly to Proserpine for a day on the water, I wouldn't think. But there is no restriction. You can have 57 single days, or sorry, 42 single days, or you can have 6 weeks or solid if you want. Okay.
Okay, and I have no more questions for you, Trevor. So.
Well, look, can I just take this opportunity to thank those who participated, and we'll be in touch. We will be downloading the presentation to YouTube. Maybe the presentation will go viral and we can make money at it, but for the moment, we will follow up and talk to you. You can ask any more questions you like, but really, we appreciate the fact that you gave us the time today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christoph, for your support, and Mara as well, and Sarah, to you, brilliantly done. We now can admit to the fact that this is the first time we've ever done a webinar. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Maggie is leaving the room.
We still